evening, folks. This is your weekly wake-up call, otherwise known as the Short Show. So here is Dave.
I remember when I was trying to make excuses not to vote other than being disillusioned, that I didn't know who I was voting for or what I was voting for. It's very easy to find that out now. You have no excuses left. All you need to do is vote. And the right wing, they're trying to push you away from voting and saying that it doesn't matter. We'll talk more about that in the long show, but there's a couple things I want to show you before that long show. Let me see. Well, if I can do it. Oh, that's all right. Here we go. I was having problems with the screen share. Number one, the New York Times, the Washington Post, they're giving you no excuses. As hey, we don't know how to find out who's an election denier. They're right here. In this Washington Post article, looks like 171 favor to win. Don't worry about that. There's over 200 of these guys. All right. You can take a look in your state. 48 out of 50 states has somebody who is denying that Joe Biden won and is denying that Democrats can win. So they are anti-election process. You do not want these people in. You just don't. Well, how do you do that? How do you look for who's on your ballot? It's very simple. I found this from the Legal Defense Fund. They have several different ways to look for it. I did it through Ballotpedia. You can generate your ballot based on your address. I put in the address of my local police precinct so nobody would dox me. So here is a sample of who's running in my area. Jackie Gordon versus Andrew Garbarino. Every single person is on that I'm voting for is on both the Democratic Party and the Working Families Party line. That just happens to be how New York is right now. Chuck Schumer, and down the line. So it's very, very simple. This is a very good resource. And again, this is from the Legal Defense Fund. And let me see. Well, it's not. I'm having problems. There we go. So Letitia James is the Attorney General. Kathy Hochul running against Lee Zeldin. Antonio Delgado is a Lieutenant Governor. Then you have Tom DiNapoli, who I'll talk about a little bit more in the long show. And then State Senate, Monica Martinez versus Wendy Rodriguez. And then you had Stephen Delvecchia, who's kind of an outsider in the Democratic Party. I'm still going to vote for him against Michael Duracell for the state assembly. And from there, you do more research. If you notice, I did some research on Monica Martinez and Wendy Rodriguez. Wendy Rodriguez, her qualifications is that she's a real estate agent. Monica Martinez actually was a state senator before. So I'm just saying. And she's a Democrat, and she validates the election and the whole thing. So you can do your own research. It's very simple. It takes you 5 minutes. I walked you through it in 3? So it's time for you to do it. Tuesday's the deadline. That's when you have to go if you haven't already done your early mail-in ballots, which, good news, we've had really good results so far nationwide in early mail-in ballots, which the right wing is trying to discredit and say is invalid. of course, but we have a chance to potentially turn this around or start to turn this around. But if you noticed in that chart, there's still going to be guys that we're going to have to get out later in other elections. This is not over by a long shot. But wherever we are, next week we're going to talk about where we are, how much we won, how much we lost, whatever, and what we're going to have to do in the future. But it's simple. You can go, you can look. There are also resolutions and proposals and all that stuff. That's where I always got caught up. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a long show, but you can research everything now.
Right now, the priority is to get the GOP out. Okay. It's as simple as that. You have there's only one thing on the ballot, as far as I'm concerned: democracy versus fascism. There's no other way to present this election. All right, losing is not an option here, and thinking you're going to fix it in 2024, because literally, and even Rachel Maddow has said this is a referendum on whether you ever get to vote again. For a lot of people, if the Republicans take power, they will not be voting again, or will not be legitimate elections again. I'm sorry, whether you want to see this or not, this has been going in this direction. They've been doing it right in front of your face in the open. You should be incensed enough to get out there. Barack Obama is right. If 90% of the Democrats voted, we wouldn't have to worry about the billionaires and the right wing. Just fucking do it, okay?
Now, there are other things too. I understand it's kind of secondary, but take a look at any proposals or resolutions or any bond issues or any of that kind of stuff, because the right wing has been dismantling protections, whether it be environmental protections or economic protections. That's where these proposals are going to come into play, and I'll talk a little bit about it. In New York, the one proposal as an example, but you have a choice to affect your government, not only by voting for people, but also for voting for things that have already been in place. So do it. And I'll see you guys in a long shot.
Bye.